For the chest in the back, kind of the same idea. It's got the lower section in the front. Again, you're going to cut off here is the whole connection flange. Now, what I recommend is actually gluing these completely closed, and on the left side, but leaving the right side open. So you only get that one little side to kind of squeeze into this thing. You know, I kind of like having somebody else kind of help me get into it, because sometimes when you're pulling it over, it wants to kind of catch onto the ab piece and just kind of get, you know, you don't want to put a lot of stress on this because of the fact that you are gluing it. But after you get used to getting into it, it's not a problem. So maybe the first couple of times you need to kind of, you know, figure out that nice way to have your arm position so it slides on.
It's pretty easy to do. Yeah.
So you've got it down for you. I think you've got, John, you got yours glued already, right?
Well, I didn't glue the 2 bottom pieces, but it's finalized.
It's pretty much okay.
Yeah, the top's all glued.
So once it's glued, it's, you know, it's pretty solid. And you've got the one side right there to get in, and you can actually do it. You know, just kind of spreads open and slides in a little bit. What I would recommend, he hasn't done it yet, is after you've glued it, take another piece of plastic and support the inside with another piece of plastic. With the kits, it comes with an extra sheet of plastic. So you've got plenty of plastic to kind of create the tabs that we're talking about on the inside of the.
Insides, yeah.
And then if you want to support here, also you'll need some tabs for doing the shoe discs mount. So it basically gives you all the plastic you're going to need to assemble a kit plus extra.
Now, did you use the standard, the Zappa Gap?
The CA glue?
I use CA glue.
Yeah.
CA glue?
That I recommend that the last. The green bottle, so it's the medium, so it's not super watery, it's not super thick, it's the green medium. And the zip kicker. So that's the aerosol spray zip kicker can. It helps that stuff to activate really fast. What you want to do is you want to sand all your edges a little bit, just to make sure that the glue is biting into.
Like roughing them?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, just rough them up. Just rough up where the glue is going to be adhering to, and it gets a good strong bite.
And CA glue and zip.
Zappa Gap, CA
Gap.
glue. So CA glue is what it is. Zappa Gap is the brand.
Okay.
And then you've got the zip kicker. On my website has all the different in the tool section. So in all the packaging, it has my card, so it has my website. So you can go to that and view any of the tutorials on the assembly. I've got video of the painting, all the different steps of the cutting and the assembly on there as well. So in case I miss anything, at least you'll have that extra detail.
I had also trimmed my chest down quite a bit, so my head barely fits through the hole.
Trim the front to back?
Yeah,
brought it in a little
because
bit.
when you have it, it's a pretty big gap. I didn't want a big gap. I didn't want it hanging down or whatever. So Kevin then told me, he goes, you know, you can trim it down, and just so if your head gets through, then that's a really good size. So I can squeeze my head in.
Yeah, it's let's see if I can kind of compare it here with. This will fit in and show you on that.
Oh yeah, look at that.
So he cut it, as you can kind of see here. Not about maybe a quarter inch. So that's the line, and this is the line on the mold here. So he cut at least a good quarter of an inch off the back here, which brought it in a little bit closer. And you did it just on the top. You didn't do anything on the sides?
I did the sides too.
Oh, you did the
I brought
sides.
mine in as well. Okay. Mine's pretty tight because my abs I cut in quite a bit too.
Yeah, I mean, you got to make sure your head's gonna fit here. That's the most important thing. I left it a little bit on the bigger side so that it you know, make sure it fits a little bit of variety of people. And if you're able to do that, go for it. And then basically just kind of test it, make sure your head goes through.
He's on the hair, yeah.
There you go. There you go. So it'll work if you do decide to cut it down a little bit. You can always borrow John's to make sure it's going to fit before you cut yours.
Or Ed's.
Or Ed's. No, I didn't cut
Ed's.
Ed's down. Ed's is basically straight off out of the box. I didn't. Well, I did length adjustments for his body. So okay, so we've got the upper torso, the chest back. Since we're on to the chest and back, these are the shoulder straps. That there's several different ways you can assemble them. There is definitely a right and a left, and I've got them marked inside, front, left, front, back. So there's definitely a front and back on these. Ed's. You want to get Ed's out?
Yeah,
too?
I'll get it out.
So these I permanently glued. Okay, so these are glued on. Other people are kind of doing their own modifications where they're making tabs with screws, drilling that, and then just screwing these on. Okay, that's kind of cool. So if you want to remove it later,
Like if you're doing captain or something.
right? Because the commanders they don't use these because their pauldrons sit flat on the chest and back. So if you're thinking about doing that, maybe down the road you want to change it up.
All commanders, or just the ones that wear pauldrons?
Pauldrons.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
pauldrons.
yeah.
So Cody has those.
Yes, Cody has
Cody,
these.
right.
Except in one episode he's missing one.
Oh, okay.
Why we don't know yet. But yeah, so their pauldron, you know, the larger portion of the pauldron sticks out to the side this way. So I know for sure on this side it sits flat. Where it lifts up here, it's still questionable if they have one on one side, which might be the answer why we see Cody in one episode without one on this side.
Hmm.
I don't know why, but he never wore the pauldron that we've seen so far, but it could have just been a rendering error or something. But basically, it goes back to these. If you want to glue them permanently, you can. I've done that to mine. I've done that to Ed's. A lot of other people have done that. Or you can, you know, figure out your own mounting system and just bolt these down so you can unscrew them and take them off later. And if you have the holes there, it would still be covered by the pauldron. It's just so you wouldn't have these in the way. So that pretty much covers from top to mid. Any questions top to mid?
After they're glued on, you're going to be filling the gaps, I assume?
Yeah, you definitely want to fill in the gaps in there, so that it looks completely seamless on here. A trick that I did after I trimmed this up, and I'm doing this on the belt sander, make sure I've got a nice flush mount. Okay, is I actually took a piece of the industrial strength Velcro, put it right here, and the fuzzy side on this side because it's got all these ridges. And that just kind of helped me kind of keep it in place. It barely touches because it's a little bit thicker than the depth of the Velcro, but it kind of helped me keep it in place, and I clamped it down and CA glued it there. So that even if the CA glue pops, hopefully the Velcro will kind of keep it from you losing it. So it's just like a backup, I guess. So yes, I use CA glue for the entire set of armor. Okay, even when I glued the parts and it's a little bit recessed, I'll actually sometimes go and I'll fill that with CA glue rather than Bondo. I'll use Bondo also, but I really want to ensure I got a nice good bead with the CA glue. And let's see if he's got anything that's already glued.
He's got legs, I think, in one of those sets over there. Oh, there.
I'm gonna grab one of your parts here.
It's yours,
If I
isn't it?
could,
Yeah, it's mine.
I think this might be the best to show. Alright, so we know the outside that has been CA glued, right? I also did it on the inside, down the seam. Just so that I know on both sides of the flanges has a lot of CA glue, it's not going to go anywhere. So that's the other trick. You want to kind of, if this is the lip here, hold the CA glue, let it kind of run down in, and then hit it with the kicker. That's kind of the ideal on the outside here is, so where he's going to be gluing it, you can tell it's, you know, it's got a valley here. So you want to try to fill that up with as much CA glue as you can, even after it's done. But be careful, you know, you want to make sure that stuff isn't going to run everywhere. It runs, it's on the ABS, it's going to live there. And then do it on the inside as well. That's going to just give you the total strength you need. Because a lot of people talk about the Zap-A-Gap CA glue. You know, it's kind of a brittle glue, and a lot of people say it snaps, it breaks, it doesn't always, you know, stick forever. ABS glue melts, so it makes a permanent bond. This stuff doesn't really melt, but it adheres like crazy if you've done the prep sanding that we talked about, you know, on the flanges, and if you do it on both sides. I've never had any of these come apart like this. And then, yeah, the rest is a little bit of Bondo. Trying to apply that on as smooth as you can, and then sanding it out smooth, so it becomes pretty much completely seamless.
So you don't have to run a
Wow.
strip of.
Pretty strong. You can try to break it.
No, you don't
Here,
need to run
see if
it.
it comes apart.
You do not need to run a strip of ABS on the inside like standard clone.
Yeah.
The connection flange that I designed into the molds eliminates that issue completely, which again speeds up your time. Like pretty much half your time was creating the shims and butting the edges together. All that time's eliminated. You can assemble this thing in half the time now. It's so much quicker. Another thing, I've left a lot of the return, okay? So when it's assembled and it's, let's say it's like tight and it's rubbed on the back of your knee, I would recommend trimming it a little bit more out from the back side. Try not to cut too much from this front side here. This is kind of a nice focal point on the armor, and you want to give that illusion that the armor is quite thick in the front. So if if it goes together and it's too tight around the back of your knee, then cut it out from the back side here. That'll give you a lot more room, especially if you're trying to climb stairs like Ed here.
He's a stairmaster.
That was probably the toughest thing I had with the original set, was just figuring out where to leave return and where not to.
Yeah.
What about like on the you get to it, but what about like on the chest and stuff like that? Is there any particular point to worry about return or not really?
Pretty much all the lines are there as far as how thick the return should be. It's got all the indications already of where you want to trim everything out. Around the neck is just into the valley area. So as far as most of the pieces go, it's pretty well defined. Even like we'll go back to the so even here, so it's pretty much where the changes direction. Hey John, do you got a pencil on hand?
Yeah.
I'll show you a real easy way to help identify everything. Perfect. So literally, if you just take your pencil, it naturally just wants to go there. That's where you're going to trim it off. So that's pretty much
With your
it.
eyes closed.
Yeah, he's like,
That's it. Same thing here. So where your pencil is going to tell you where everything needs to be, because it wants to just follow.
So that was like the end of the mold or something?
That's it, huh?
That's the end of the mold and it kind of just folded over?
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And again here, so we need this part here. This is the steps. This is the part we're going to put glue, but we can't have that area there. So we want to just make sure we cut that off so that it's nice and flat here still. So when they connect, so yeah, anytime you've got that.
That you don't get on the website.
Okay. No, that I don't. But that pretty much tells you exactly where that's going to need to be cut out now.
All right.
So you do that to all your parts. So whoever's getting this kit already has the leg drawn out. Yes. I'll go back over. So it's everything. If you want to sit here, you can actually get all your parts and just follow the line here. Oops, sorry, pencil jumped. And that's where
Yeah, seriously,
that's
right?
where it's going to cut out.
around here.
Well, this piece is where we're going to glue on. So
Yeah.
we'll come down here. Yeah,
Right
go down
there.
there. Okay. And then back over here again.
That's a good point.
That's where it's going to glue. So you don't want to cut that
Yeah,
out.
I don't want to put that out.
Same thing here. So it's just kind of following where.
Keep that.
So just keep following it all with the pencil.
Yeah, it's a tab.
Do not separate the belt from the butt. Okay, you don't want to do that. I've formed them together on purpose because in the film, there's only one scene where you ever see them separate. There's when it picks the pilot up out of the thing on Ryloff, whatever, and you see that there's a gap there. But if you start to put the gap there, you're going to end up with a lot of wearable issues. So I definitely don't recommend cutting that free. So yeah, the whole pencil thing really is kind of key. We'll jump kind of to the arms, and on all the parts, I guess I should have mentioned, everything's labeled right or left on here, so that you pretty much know you're getting the right parts first of all, and you know where the parts need to go. The left is the one that has the comp pad. It already has the indication there of exactly where you need to mount the comp pad.
We'll get that too.
You've got that too, yeah.
Hey.
The comp pad piece, or it comes in the kit as well. All right. So it's pretty much telling you where all the stuff needs to go, so the guesswork is gone. Because that takes a lot of time looking at references. Is it 2 inches? Is it only an inch? Where should it be? That's already done for you.